Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matt Games. I'm back with just a little bit of a different video today. I wanted to go over my very first regional experience. Over the weekend, I went to the Toronto Regionals, and it was a lot of fun, actually. This was my first big premier event. I'd been to a lot of smaller tournaments in the past, but this was my first really big event. My goal for the event really wasn't to get my invite or anything like that. I really wanted to go and just see, what it was like, what the experience was. So I'm just going to go over my rounds and stuff. I'll have a deck profile out hopefully soon. I don't know, honestly. But I played Zombie Danger with some Orchest cards. Pretty standard game strategy. Either turbo it as a thought turn 1, or if you're going second, you can try and break boards with Ballard Rock and all that. It actually worked really well for me. I'll get into my matches a little bit more now. So round 1, obviously I haven't been to a big event ever, but it was really fun. Round 1 ended up playing against Yugioh, so that fun went away pretty quick. Game 1, he actually won dice roll. I only won 2 dice rolls all day out of the 9 rounds. Technically 8 because one of the rounds was a no-show, but it was really bad game 1. It was he just activated Demise, tribute summoned one of the Yugioh cards, flipped summon limit, and there can only be one. I fought a little bit, but then I ended up just scooping. Game 2, I ended up going first. I sided Eradicator in, obviously, because that's the best card against them. So I ended up flipping Eradicator, calling spells. He discarded 5 spells, and then he had Sphere Mode, and he couldn't even resolve it because Zombie World's a thing. You can't tribute under Zombie World, fun fact. So, Thunder Dragons, get on that shit, even though it doesn't work with your deck whatsoever. Yeah, no, actually though, Zombie World was such a good floodgate. Oh my god, it was so good. It shuts out the Salamangreats going for Veiling, so their combos become a lot more awkward. Shuts out Thunder Dragons, anything with Guard Dragons. Oh my god, it was so good. I ended up playing a Buster Blader player, and it just shut him out so hard. The one game, because he can't go into LP, anything. He couldn't activate World Legacy Guard Dragon, just nothing. Sorry, so the second game, I ended up just doing that, and he just scooped, because it was pretty obvious I was going to be able to get OTK next turn. I think I already had enough damage for game, but he knew I already still had 4 cards in hand after activating Orc's Return, so he just scooped it up there. Game 3 was really weird. He just set a bunch of cards, and then he didn't have access to any monsters, which was really weird. He had 1 Floodgate, which didn't stop me too much, because I think it was Summon Limit. But at that point, I was able to just get board presence, and then keep stalling a little bit. One thing we should know before we go on in this is the point where the time was the worst position possible for where I spent most of my day. I spent most of my day around the 50s table area. Out of 200 tables, we were on the opposite side from time, and it wasn't in the air at all. It was at waist height, so it was impossible to see from most places in the venue. They really got to do a better job of that, and they weren't warning us until it was time up. So that'll be more important next round. But I ended up just kind of waiting in for an out. I never saw one, but the damage I did with Gozuki was enough in time to just let me get the win. Like I was saying, none of us could see time. I didn't even know it was coming up. Our game 1 took a really long time because I struggled a long time to try and find an out, but I just didn't find one. So I ended up just scooping after a while after he was gonna, do all that. Game 2 was really fast, obviously. He just scooped after I eradicated him in standby. And then, the game 3, it was just Gozuki poke was the game. I felt really bad too, because he did a little bit of damage, through the Gozuki, but besides that, Gozuki effect kept setting cards, kept specialing in defense. He just wasn't able to get through my defenses, and I think I'm, very sure he flipped Summon Limit, which is the reason I wasn't comboing off as much, but I was still able to make Ballard Rock. He just outed it with his traps and all, every time, almost every time. It was really hard to play against Yugioh, but I didn't end up winning in time, so it was pretty good, actually. My round, so I ended up winning that round 2-1. I went on to my next round. I ended up playing against Salamangreats. Like I said, I didn't win a single dice roll until later on in the day, so he ended up going first, setting up a pretty good board. Obviously, game 1, it was really tough breaking that. I drew I think 3 Orcust cards that game, which was really bad, and I didn't draw return. So I was basically laying on 2 cards, revealed the danger, special the draw, and I don't remember what I drew into, but I just couldn't out that board. We go into game 2, I go first, I set up like my combo, set it up, get the Winder on field with Azathoth. He says, end main phase, and I think, okay, I'm about to get even lead, so I flip the rank up Maladic, go into my Baladrock, go into my thing, and just so after he does that, he won't be able to activate monsters. So he banishes my whole field except for the zombie world because I didn't want him to go for Phalanx, but he just had the nuts. Like, he was doing really well. On my next turn, I was able to summon Boral Sword and a couple of other things, and I ended up doing, I believe 4,000 damage, just because the other thing was a Link monster, so I couldn't switch it to defense for Boral Sword for another attack. On his next turn, like I said before, we could not see the time at all. So he's going through his normal play a little bit. We did get one time check from, I think it was his girlfriend that was there with him. She said 6.5 minutes. And I thought, okay, this guy's got plenty of time to go through his combo. He's thinking, how do I, actually out it and all this? And I'm like, because I'm just thinking, is he running something that can out this really easily? Did he top deck the Fusion of Fire, stuff like that? So he took quite a while just thinking about it because he thought he had a lot of time. Time gets called, and in a panic, he activates Fusion of Fire and then attempts to enter the battle phase and then attack for game. And I said, no, you activated Fusion of Fire as time ran out. Obviously, I'm not trying to rule shark him. That is the rule. I hate the new time rules as well. But I'm still trying to do well at this event because I had a side bet going with my buddies, and I did not want to lose that, and I didn't end up losing that. But yeah, he did end up just tying it with me. I did feel kind of bad, but obviously we ended up calling a judge and asking for ruling, and he said, what happened? And I said, he activated Fusion of Fire as time was called, and was in the process of resolving it as time had already finished being called. He said, yeah, you're still legally in main phase and cannot enter battle. So I ended up tying that game, which really sucked. That was, I think, if I didn't tie that, I think I had a chance of getting my invite. You'll see the final record at the end. So in my next round, I just got fucking demolished by Salamangreat. Again, lost the dice roll. Game 2, I got, I think, double hand trapped, maybe triple hand trapped. I think it was at least 2. There was an Impermanence and an Ash. I'm not sure if there was also a Veiler on top of that, but it was at least 2. So I couldn't resolve as many combos as I would have liked to, obviously. Like normal Unizombie, it gets Impermanenced. Start Orcust plays. Obviously, the Mermaid gets Ashed, and at that point, there's not much I can do. So I go on to the next game. It's against Altergeist. I 2-0 the Altergeist player. It wasn't very difficult. I was very surprised that I was actually able to outgrind the Altergeist player. I did something really stupid. I figured, okay, I'm playing against Altergeist. They play Summon Limit. At least some of them do, right? So I'm going to side Pankratops and all that, and I'm going to blind hit one of these if I end up drawing the Pankratops. So both games, he started with Meluseek into Linkuriboh, he just searched Marionetta both games, so he hard drew the Multi-Faker, and then he just set cards and passed. Game 1, I think he had a Floodgate that didn't really matter. I think it was Rivalry. I can't remember. He didn't open Secret Village or anything both games, which would have kind of sucked. But again, my whole thing with this version is that I don't rely on the Zombie World as much. I don't play the Bloom. I don't play multiple Baladrock, which did bite me in the ass one game. But he only got called once, and I'll get to that. But first game, I just OTK'd him through his Linkuriboh. Game 2, what ended up happening was he opened the same board, just Meluseek, Linkuriboh, pass. And I'm going into this thinking, okay, I can special the Pankratops that I drew in my first card 5. I draw, and it's Orcust Return or something, I don't remember. But it was live in hand. So I special Pankratops. I pop the back row, and it's fucking Waking the Dragon. And I just started shitting myself, because I'm like, is this hand good enough to make a Boral Sword? And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, okay, I can make a Boral Sword, but the problem is me making a monster for it to switch again to actually finish this game and to out the Linkuriboh, because I can't just make a Boral Sword or else his attack is going to go to 0. And he's going to be over my Boral Sword next turn and it's not going to matter. So I was thinking, okay, can I make a Boral Sword plus something to attack into the Linkuriboh or something even to attack into the Linkuriboh, then he switches it. So I'm thinking, okay, I can do that. His set is the only thing I'm worried about, and I think it was like a fucking protocol or something. So he ended up specialing Multi-Faker, special Socatus, right? So now I have to out all that, and I'm thinking, well, I still can out it if I get a good thing off this danger, and I can't obviously just summon the Unizombie before I do that, or else he's just going to out the Unizombie by bouncing it, and then my entire turn is dead. So I end up risking it on the danger. I get a really good discard of a Mizuki, special the danger, and then I am just able to out-resource him because he didn't, I don't know why he didn't set more cards. I don't know if he ran out of traps or if he had too many monsters or what, but he just wasn't able to out-resource anything. So I ended up 2-0ing him in my next round. I played against Danger Thunder Dragon. I ended up actually going first, and I set up my Azathoth combo, and then he just scooped. Like, after I was in a position to summon Azathoth, and he knew I was going to, he just scooped. Before the match started, like, this wouldn't have changed anything in game 1. Before the match started, I accidentally saw Sekka's Light on the bottom of his deck. He wasn't, I wasn't trying to, obviously, but he kind of, he didn't show it to me, obviously, but he had his bottom of his deck facing me. I saw Sekka's Light. I'm thinking, okay, it's either Thunder Sekka's or Danger Sekka's. So, either way, going for Azathoth. Obviously, I was going to do that anyways. I had a great hand enough to go for Azathoth. And both of those decks don't really run hand traps anymore. Like, especially Burning Abyss doesn't run any. I don't know about Danger Thunder as much. It was like Guard Dragon, Danger Thunder, yada yada. But, most of the time against that deck, you activate Zombie World, and then they just can't do anything. They can't go into Guard Dragons, they can't summon Colossus, they can't do anything. And they don't run removal because they run Sekka's Light. So, game 2, he goes first, assembles a fucking massive board, right? Scaldy, 2 Colossus, the Zombie Stein thing, and then Hot Red. And I'm thinking, okay, this hand is actually fucking nuts. Can I out this? And I'm thinking, okay, I can probably out this. So I bait the first negation with my Unizombie, and then I bait the second negation with my Orchestra Return. Because obviously he didn't want me getting more cards, because he didn't know it was in my hand. I actually ended up having Orchestra Return and Orchestra Nightmare, which was really, really good, just because I didn't have to go through my whole Galatea set, Special World Wand, and I could do Baladrock instead. So I ended up just really easily breaking boards, because once you activate that Zombie World, Colossus just can't do anything. Especially since my deck doesn't search at all, I don't think. It draws cards off of dangers, but Colossus doesn't stop that. I don't think it searches. I don't think there's a single card in that deck that searches. But after that, it was just I win. You can't protect anything. After I baited the negations, I attacked into the Hot Red, attacked into one of the Colossuses. I crashed with Scaldy with my Baladrock, and then obviously he comes back, so I wasn't super worried about him doing anything like that, because I don't even think they side deck spell traps unless it's hate for back row decks. But I'm not exactly a back row deck, so I was able to just easily kill his board and then stop him from doing anything next turn. The round after that, Danger Thunder again. I just, that's my best matchup probably. Or Salamangreats when I win Dice Roll, but that's when it's a coin toss. So game 1, he combos off really hard, gets 3 negations, and I try to play through it, and I end up breaking it, but it costed all my resources. So on next turn, I get Baladrock on my field, and then it's all good from there. Once you keep getting Baladrock back, keep getting advantage off that, then you just win. Unless they can really out-resource your Baladrock and keep popping the Zombie World, that's why I was so scared of, the Titan Thunder Dragon variants going first. They just keep popping, Zombie World, and you can't really get the Baladrock out ever. But once you do get the Baladrock, even if they try to pop your Zombie World, you just chain banish and then get another one. It's not that hard. But I was able to just 2-1 him. So at this point, I'm feeling really, really nice. But at the end of this match, it was, really getting to me, how fucking hard it is to go that many rounds of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just constantly thinking. I don't know how people do multiple day YCSs. I underestimated how difficult it would be to just just play so much Yu-Gi-Oh in one day. In round 7, I played against a fucking mirror match. One thing you should know about my deck is there is definitely like a lack of dangers for a zombie danger. I was running 4, one of which was a Tsuchinoko my friend loaned me, and the others were Mothman, just because I'm more budget than most players. But considering like my entire deck minus the Boral Sword was extremely cheap, I think I did quite well. But I played a mirror match, and obviously I didn't know it was a mirror match. So I normaled Unizombie. I said effect descend from hand. He ashes it, and I thought, okay, you can't ash that. At least I know he has an ash now. So for cost, I send Harp, and then I say effect descent from deck to grave. I'm guessing you're going to ash it. He doesn't ash it because he sees Harp for some reason, and then he continues to not ash the Harp. So I don't know why, but he ended up just fucking slaughtering me because I activated Mothman and it ended up discarding itself, and I thought, oh, that's not bad. I can discard a Mizuki or a Banshee or whatever. He ends up discarding... he discarded a fucking Ballardrock when I already had Zombie World up, and I thought, well, fuck me. I can't do anything. Like, because he's just going to special this Ballardrock, and I don't want to pop my own Zombie World. So I thought, okay, I have to get Azathoth, but I can't through this Ash. So I decided to go for an alternative play, and that didn't work either. So I ended up getting Summon Limited, both games. Or sorry, no, Summon Limited game 2. Game 3 I went into, and I just couldn't do anything. Like, all of my plays would have benefited him more than myself. And it was really interesting at the end, because he ended up just being like, hey, Summon Limit, both games. And he was playing it as a one-of. So that got me a little bit mad, not gonna lie. But after that, I was still like, okay, probably not in invite range at this level, but let's see what I can do. I end up playing against fucking Buster Blader Guard Dragon. And like I said, Guard Dragon is a really nice matchup if you go first and set up Zombie World. So I do that game 1. I actually was just so dead at the time, like just not paying attention, that he was just starting to combo off. I'm like, yeah. Oh wait, you literally can't do any of this. And he's like, oh, you're right. I'm like, okay, at this point he just has a Scoldy. I'm like, it's irreparable game state, keep going. And at that point he just can't do anything else. So he ends up just passing there. I break that board really easily and I just kill him. Game 2, he summons this thing. It was really weird. He activated Mothman, I discarded Banshee, and he said, okay. Because he was pretty much done his combo once he discarded Mothman, because he knew at that point, like, okay, even if you do get the Zombie World, that's not going to hurt that much. But it was a really weird game. He had some card, I don't remember what it was called. It changes everything on my field to dragons. So it was kind of weird playing around that. It was, like, it didn't affect me too badly, but you can't go into things like Sucker, you can't go into, it was really, really weird. And then we ended up, because we had Zombie World and that thing at the same time, so we were wondering, like, how does that work at all? So the judge said whichever one happened more, whichever one happens more recently is the one that goes through. So I ended up having to, like, keep resolving Zombie World after he got this thing out. And in the end, he just, honestly, I bricked really hard game 3. I think I drew 4 Orchest cards out of the 5 or 6 that I play. So I ended up just really badly breaking that game, and then I really couldn't play after that. So, after that round, I knew, okay, I'm so tired. I didn't want to drop because I did want to keep the bet with my friends going. So I go to my last round, guy comes over, he's like, I'm way too tired for this, I'm going, you can have the win. And I am sitting there going, thank fucking God. I, like, sat back in my chair. My buddy was next to me in the same bracket, like, most of the tournament with me, because he also tied against Danger Thunder. He was playing Striker against, like, Luna Lights. So I just had to watch that. I did a friendly against another guy whose opponent dropped. He was playing Invoked Mech Knights, which was actually pretty fun. One of the really funny things that happened in that match was, well, it wasn't a match, it was just one game. Basically, I don't know if he was allowed to. I honestly didn't care because it was so late, but he ended up summoning the summoning, what's it called? Raijin, yeah. The one, he banished Droll and that thing to summon Raijin. And he said since he chained it to the summon, the activation, I couldn't, because he had Magical Meltdown, I couldn't negate it or chain to it. So he booked my Ballardrock. And then I thought, okay, what do I do from here? Then he links it for the link, and then he summons a... Oh, what the fuck's it called? Purgatorio, that's it. And then I'm just thinking, oh shit, I'm gonna die. I look at my graveyard and I realize, oh wait, when he attacks Ballardrock, I can chain Banshee to, when it's flipped up, chain Banshee, chain to banish it. But I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna eat a shit ton of damage with the rest of my field, because I'm pretty sure he still has another Alistair. Turns out, obviously, he does have another Alistair. So he discards the Alistair, upping its attack as he attacks my Ballardrock. My Ballardrock flips up, banish Banshee, activate another one from deck, and I chain Ballardrock. He's like, wait, what? Oh, you're going to banish it. And then I banish it, and then that's pretty much game from there. So that was just a little fun side story. But it was really nice going. To anyone who hasn't tried, I'd recommend Yugioh. Even if you're not planning on playing the full day, at least play a little bit, maybe enter a win-a-mat or something. Those are very fun. The winner of the event, funny enough, was a guy from the card shop I go to. So, shout out to him, and he was playing Guru Control. So, I'm really glad I didn't play him, because I can't play against Guru Control for fucking shit. The funniest thing that I've ever done against Guru Control is they flip There Can Only Be One, when he had, like, just a really nice board of... I think he was playing, like, a couple of the behemoths in that version, just for fun. Not the same guy, but I ended up activating Zombie World and wiping most of his board, which was really funny. But that was just a little side story. In the end, I finished 5-3-1. Obviously not a good enough for my invite, but I round 75th. I only checked the top 50 because I went to go get dinner as soon as it ended, and then I came back to check standings, and they only had top 50 because they threw everything else out. So I wasn't in top 50. Obviously, I didn't get my invite, but there is another one in April that I'm hoping to get my invite at. Even if I don't, I'm not going to complain too much. I'm still trying to stay somewhat budget. I decided to buy a Boral Sword, so I can't complain that much. But I did get a very good price on it, 75. So, and now it's getting reprinted. So, so fuck me, I guess. But I hope you guys all enjoyed this story. I might have a deck profile up for my Zombie Danger deck. I might not. I honestly, no one should really copy it unless they're going super budget. The only problem with my version is Boral Sword's a lot of the OTK power. Even if you don't OTK with Boral Sword, once you get your whole board set up, it's really hard to break through just the sheer amount of card advantage with things like Sucker and all the hand traps. The main version between... I went off of the UDS topping one, and then I cut what I couldn't afford, and then obviously I played as much as I could of his version. I really liked the Orcus cards. I hadn't played with them. Obviously I knew what they did, but I hadn't played with them previously. They tripped me up a couple of times, though. They tripped me up a couple of times when I was like, oh, yes, Mermare, special Mermare is whoops, that's a water monster, fuck. But this video was really fun, actually, to go over all my rounds and think, well, what did I do better, what did I do bad? Right around, after the 6th round, if I wouldn't have lost 7 and 8, I think I definitely would have gotten my invite. Even if I would have lost one of them, that's X 2.5. That could have been really good. But I'm satisfied with the table number I stayed at for most of the day. I ended at around, I think, table 40. I ended up winning that game, so I'd like to say I was around 60th or 70th. I could be very wrong in that estimate, but 60th, 70th, 75th-ish, which is pretty good for my first regionals. I was pretty proud with how I performed. There was around 400 people there. Obviously, I wanted to do better. I wanted to get my invite, but that wasn't realistic. I did end up doing better than my friends, not by much. My friend playing Sky Strikers that I was talking about that was at the table next to me ended up losing to the Lunalight player after forgetting that he flipped Summon Limit on himself. That just wasn't a smart decision. He could have went Phoenix to pop it, but he decided to go into Cerberus because he didn't realize it was there. Again, the hardest part of Yu-Gi-Oh! Events is just, being able to play for that long. It's really, really hard. I have so much more respect for people that do these on a regular basis now. Especially guys like Dazif that just, their whole goal is to do well. And it must really suck after a day of just not performing properly or just drawing shit hands with like Altergeist and stuff like that. So I really respect those guys a lot more now. I did run into Team Samurai there, and I'm not gonna lie, I expected him to be the most flamboyant, fucking I'm the best player I've ever seen, but he was actually really humble. I still don't have a ton of respect for him, if I'm being honest, because he used to play, like, Danger FDK stuff, but he was playing solid, I guess. I mean, he plays Blue Eyes, but I don't really care, even though that's one of my favorite decks. Don't judge people by the decks they play. That's pretty much a given. In the background, there should have been some Yugioh Pro replays. Hopefully there was enough for the whole video. I have a bunch stored up of just random decks like BA and Blue Eyes and stuff, so hopefully this is enough. Running on like 26 minutes now, so I'm probably gonna have to cut this down quite a bit, but maybe I'll just upload the whole thing. I'm kind of rambling now, so I guess this was my first ever regionals experience. I hope everyone here enjoyed listening to me rant for a solid like 25 minutes. But thank you all for watching if you actually did until this point. Let me know if you are going to be going to the next round of regionals. Let me know. Obviously, shout out Team Invoker. You guys are great. Shout out to Untouchables, which is my game store that I go to for locals. And then I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.